Good afternoon, everyone. Well, not an ideal time for a panel right after lunch, but I hope everybody is up and kind of full. So, 30 minutes, four sharp minds from digital as an industry. Somebody who comes at the edge of hunger, somebody who's connecting the entire connectivity in the digital ecosystem, which is Kanika. Somebody who comes from an ecosystem we all have grown up with, Tupperware. I personally believe every single household has at least one product of Tupperware. And we have all grown up with that. Somebody who understands how CTV is planned, how these conversations are made. Somebody who's sitting at the edge of the entire budgets we all are hungry for. Yeah. And that's the reality. Yeah, so four sharp minds, next 30 minutes, I'm sure we are not somebody who's going to bore you right after lunch, but we'll try and make it decently interesting. So I'm going to start with Sajit here, and that's the super most lovable category I personally have. From a Domino standpoint, I would largely focus upon attention, right? Domino's operates from a world where consumer decision is barely, I think, 30 seconds or maybe a few minutes while they really want to order something. Whenever a user is hungry and they have pizza in mind, they typically get Domino's, is what I understand from Domino's perspective. How do you see premium screens working out for you from your media strategy point of view? How do you see high attention environment? Because CTV as an ecosystem is not like having scrolling multiple devices at the same point of time when you're actually involved in watching a particular content on TV screen. So how do you reconcile on a larger screen from a Domino strategy point of view?
So starting from the point that for Domino's, you very rightly said, when advertising, our objective is not just purely to have a brand recognition, because that's somewhere we've already one of the most recognized brands there, we're there. But more importantly, it's to trigger that action, make people to want to have the pizzas that we make. From that factor, one key aspect that barely bumps in is, for me, is the large screen. It is inherent in human nature that large screen visibility. That's where you are able to showcase the creativity and you are able to showcase the indulgence. It doesn't come out that well when you're looking at smaller screens. So when we look at CTV, primarily we look at not just CTV or TV. We primarily look at its large screen. That's one of the mainstream for advertising for us. Secondly, CTV has grown immensely popular, especially when it comes to appointment viewing. When it comes to specific impact comes in, be it FIFA, be it World Cup. That's where people prefer to watch large screen, this thing. Third piece, why a CTV or a large screen syncs with us is the core viewing part. For example, if you look at football, you look at cricket, and you look at any other impact shows that people like to watch with other people together. You like to bring in a group, share that occasion moment. And pizzas actually inherently come in right in place there. Because as a food product, people love to share, people love to eat out together. And inherently, for the last 2 years, CTV impact has been a very important part of our ecosystem. And inherently, when I'm watching something that's indulgent, and then you showcase something that's very exciting to eat, that's where it brings in immediate action. We have tested, it's been proven, right from the spot where the ad plays in, we have seen results coming in for business for us.
Fair. So a follow-up to that, when you actually plan your media mix, do you see CTV that as a medium, it really deserves to be a part of the media mix? Or is it something like it's just a premium screen which is giving the visibility out to the relevant user base out from our audience perspective?
From majority of my plans, it's actually the core part of it. We just wrapped up with a World Cup plan that's purely on CTV. And we are like stepping into the next weekend where we'll have India's largest sporting event happening. And that, believe me, the amount of growth that's happening, because CTV growth, there's no two ways of it. You cannot buy a television that is not a smart TV. And it's inherent shift. Consumers do not understand the aspect that's CTV, or for them, it's just a TV with a remote. The differentiation is us marketeers who create, is it TV, it's CTV. People do not care. When you ask, go out to people, where do you watch it? We watch it on a TV. It's a large screen, you point a remote, it works. They're not too much bothered what is the wire that goes behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you. CTV is growing, and we all are 100% convinced about. We have seen this during multiple events in the last couple of years, or even more. So there's no point to doubt that CTV is not growing, or CTV is not taking that shift
I
from a
believe
growth
it's
perspective.
already grown. It's already grown. If you take a
grown.
metros part of it,
But there's a massive scope out there.
yeah,
right?
the
It's a
growth
massive
potential is there. Definitely, I'm not denying that fact. But if you look at anyone who's looking at metros,
scope. Yeah.
now the new growth is coming, is actually not come out of metros. It's going to come out of tier 2 towns where the adoption will happen. But metros, it has happened.
Yeah.
Right now, it's sitting at 60 million devices. And when you say 60 million devices, people compare it with television. It's not audience, it's devices.
Yeah.
It's just 120 million, at least 120 million people.
Yeah.
So
More
that's
than
what
that.
you look at.
Yeah.
That's where the error happens when people say, oh, TV has X-Men. TV is individuals. So you have to compare it. And I'm putting a multiple of 2. That's the bare minimum right now household happens. We have 3, 4, 3.5 is the average. So
Yeah.
even if you take it by 2, there are 120 million people watching CTV.
Which is not a small number at all. Yeah. Fair enough. Thank you, Sajit. My next point of view is going to be for Kanika. A very unique ecosystem you operate in. Somebody who's connecting the entire digital as an infrastructure across India and Bharat, I would say. So you're not just a distributor, like from a connectivity perspective, right? You're a part of that plumbing that's enabling the entire ecosystem out, right? So how do you see, from your marketing standpoint, CTV playing a major role from, could be from a business outcome perspective, could be just from a viewability from a screen perspective?
So I'll tell you two things, like one on the aspect of business. Like Sajit was saying, we all know that CTV is becoming like the first screen of the house. It is now the go-to screen for everyone. Most of us are like either cord shavers or cord cutters, especially the ones who are in metros now. So I think CTV definitely has a huge role to play. And as an ecosystem, like Airtel sits at the core of powering all of this. We now today, like Wi-Fi is in each and every house, and you know, it's only expanding as we speak. It was a metro phenomenon when COVID hit, but actually post that, post COVID, there has been a huge acceleration for us. And I think we are growing leaps and bounds on that business as well from a business lens. So Wi-Fi is the one which is powering all of your connected homes. Now it's no more a CTV, I would say it's a whole house which is connected through Airtel as an ecosystem, because all your devices are now connected through Wi-Fi. So that's a big enabler. And for us, it was a more of a consumer behavioral shift which happened. And Airtel sits as, you know, at the core of enabling people, enabling consumers' life. So from a connected device, we are now a connected household. So that's how we see the shift from a lens of that. Now coming to the second point, which is on viewability and seeing how it works in a marketing strat on when we are working across multiple product lines. For example, I have a business which is a prepaid business. There are postpaid users from a mobility lens. There's Wi-Fi, there is DTH. There are lots of businesses that we own. So the fact is that for each and every business, the growth of this medium is definitely there. While the surge is where we see more of the affluent households. But now even from a Wi-Fi lens, there is a lot of penetration which is happening in the tier 2 towns and even rural also. The rural consumers also want to take it because they are also optimizing or they are viewing content which is just beyond TV. So now there is so much content out there which gets bundled with all of your connected devices, right? So this is what we power as an ecosystem. And from a marketing lens, yes, there has been a huge role for CTV as such, and we've been using it since COVID hit. After that, we started using it. I remember our initial plans would be just a YouTube, for that matter, CTV on YouTube. But now there is so many other channels who have CTV, and we continue to be on the platform. It's one of the large part of our overall strat. And whether it's cricket or any other tent poles, we also do a lot of impact buys on CTV because that seems to be working. And now with newer platforms are also getting into more engagement-led platforms on CTV. So it's also going to become interactive, while there is a huge room out there. But I think there are chances that there are newer players coming up with, different things how we can engage with the consumers. Yeah.
I think you rightly touched upon multiple channels. So, which is largely to do with content as a real variable. If I may, have your thoughts around, what do you think who needs to move first? Is it the content creators on the larger screen, or is it the OEMs?
Well, I think that's a tough one. But I think on the way I see, it's actually both. It's not a single thing. It's not something that one can own. Because creators, now we are all using creators not just on social, but on other platform extension
yeah.
as well. They are becoming part of our brand narrative, because today consumers look at those people from more the lens that they get, which is authenticity. For that, they're lending their own image to a brand, and I think that's what's helping brands. So
Fair.
I think it's a role play of both the OEMs and the creators. So I would say it's both.
Content still plays a real value in the entire ecosystem, right? Fair. Thank you, Kanika. Shweta, for you, Tupperware as a brand has been remarkable. It's sitting in, like I said, every household, most of the household, I would say. And it has created that equity in, like, everybody in India, I believe, right? How do you see, as a brand, Tupperware, who's largely to do with a certain category of households, and connecting CTV as an ecosystem from your brand strategy perspective? Because CTV largely has got comparatively a younger audiences, and it's a kind of a lean back kind of an environment. People are resting it out when they're actually watching content on a larger screen. So how is that positioning of a premium screen versus Tupperware fits into your entire brand strategy?
Right. Thanks, Karan, for that tough question. Very good afternoon to one and all. Thank you for having me here. I think in today's day and scenario, it's no longer for brand. To build a brand, it's no longer about visibility only. Even if you are the most visible brand, like you all said, it's important to be there in the to have the consumer's attention, right? And to drive that attention in today's day and time and not go behind reach and impression, I think CTV or premium TV fits in just perfect, because that's where the entire home system is sitting together, watching, having conversations. That's where a brand can actually tell their stories, and people can register because you can get your undivided attention at that time. So that's one of the best platform, I should say, premium CTVs, in terms of capturing the consumer's attention, the viewer's attention, and it's the right place where your brand can tell their stories, can actually build trust, and can actually relate to your consumers in the way that you cannot do it in other mediums. So I think it's got a huge scope for all brands that want to build for a longer time trust and premiumness. So yeah.
Fair. I think that's a very fair answer. It's basically not a single viewing happening on CTV. It's the entire family, or a co-viewing also happening. And a brand like yours definitely makes sense there. Fair enough. And one of the most important vertical of our industry, which is, I personally call it as a planning room reality, coming on to Mimi. You typically sit in a room where millions of dollars are being discussed, how it is to be parked, why it is to be parked. Is it going to be convincing for the brand from maybe an attention point of view, or consideration, creating brand loyalty, or even defining from a business outcome perspective at the end of the day, right? How does CTV as a vertical or as a line item typically comes in your media plan? Does it really deserve to hold a certain percentage of share?
Good afternoon. So see, CTV, I think we have evolved in the last couple of years. The discussion is no longer whether to have CTV in the plan as a line item tick box to a very relevant audience that is getting addressed by CTV in terms of the scale that it is able to deliver. The other thing which has been established is the equivalency of TV to CTV and maybe a little bit more attention from CTV because that's content we are specially choosing to view versus whatever is coming in the pipe and you sort of, there are multiple options. So on CTV you are actually really selective about what you're viewing. So the equivalency factor having been established and therefore the attention metrics being stronger for CTV. So it's no longer a line item or a percentage, okay, let's try 10%, 15%, but our advice is that when you do CTV, do it because it is going to reach to a certain level of audiences or certain, a sizable audience that will be relevant for the brand. So that's how we are planning it. It's no longer just, it also depends, of course, from category to category, what stage of digital maturity of a, product or the advertiser is. But yeah, most of the advertisers we are working with have, have seen success with CTV. And
do you see the industry overall? This could be brands, this could be platforms and products, are really investing into CTV as an ecosystem?
I think that's something which we need to crack well because it's no longer just a metro phenomenon. If I ask people around the way, even I speak to my house help or anybody around, so there is CTV in their homes also. So what we need to crack is the ability to reach out the segments that we are trying to sort of reach out to. So, currently we have to rely on more broad basing rather than specific targeting. I think that's what something the industry needs to resolve for brand safety, brand environment purposes.
And you also feel creative plays an important role.
Absolutely.
As compared to your linear TV ecosystem versus a smart TV or a streaming TV ecosystem.
Creative of
the creative, whatever the creative the brand is.
Yeah, of course, that goes hand in hand. Both have to play catch up. Yeah,
Fair. Yeah. Thank you. I think we are right on time, I believe. So I'm going to be closing this with a kind of a rapid fire, wherein I think it's going to be just the instinct to whatever comes to your mind. So Sajit, for you, how do you define CTV in one word? Making sure premium as a word is banned here.
I will not use that. I believe premium is the most misused term in our industry.
Exactly, I said banned.
But there's nothing called premium because we are a country that 80% of iPhones are on EMIs. How do you define that? Is that premium? No.
Not anymore.
So for me, the term would be unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Strong one. Yep. So Kanika, for you, one buzzword in this space you would happily retire with?
Attention.
Attention. Nice. So Shweta, for you, what does everyone want from CTV but no one wants to pay for?
Visibility?
Sorry?
Reach.
Reach. So nobody wants to pay for the reach, but everybody wants that. Yeah, fair. Mimi, for you, and this is going to be the finishing one. You can actually elaborate if you want. CTV will truly scale when?
I think in the next 2 to 3 years, definitely it's going to scale. Right now, we are talking about 60 million homes, addressability. Eventually, when you run a campaign, it goes up to 35 to 40. But definitely, it's going to go maybe double-fold.
Let's say in a couple of years?
Absolutely.
Fair. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I think a real thank you to a very rare panel we have here, somebody coming in from at the rare speed of hunger to connecting India to having their products at every single house in the country and somebody who's definitely sitting on millions of dollars. Thank you, everyone.